Okay. Hi, everyone. I am so glad that you are here today, even with the late notice that I sent out about Amy Collins' PowerPoint today. She is the president of New Shelves Books, one of the largest book sales and marketing content providers in the United States. I was just talking with her, and her experience is phenomenal. As a former book buyer for a chain of bookstores in New York and sales director for a large publishing company, Amy has spent her career working with Barnes& Noble, Target, Costco, Books A Million, Walmart, and is a trusted expert speaker and recommended sales consultant for some of the largest book and retail library retailers and wholesalers in the publishing industry. In the last 20 years, Amy and her team have sold over 40 million books into the bookstore, library, and chain store markets for small and mid-sized publishers. Hear what she has to say about getting your books more attention online and on Amazon. And because I forgot to mention who I am, welcome. I am Frances Caballo from socialmediajustforwriters.com. And Amy, welcome to the show. I am so happy and thrilled to have you here today.
That is so kind. Frances, you know I'm a huge fan of yours as well. I have been a reader of yours and a follower of yours for a very long time. And for everyone who is on today and listening, I want to thank you. I know that you trust Frances and her advice, and so I ask that if you give Frances and I this next hour, we're going to teach you everything that I thought you might find interesting about Amazon and what's going on today. In the world of publishing and in the world of Amazon, everything changes every few minutes. So I want to let you know what we're going to cover today. We're going to briefly go over the different ways you can get your book on Amazon. Now, for some of you who are listening, your book is already on Amazon. So I want to remind everyone that if they have a question, if they want to ask a question while this is going on, I'm going to stop 3 different times during the course of the next hour and ask you if you have any questions. But what I want you to do, if possible, is I want you to go to your question box. If you go to the question box, which is right there on your presentation screen, on my screen it's in the upper right-hand corner, but go to the question box, and can we start by saying, can you guys hear me? How am I sounding? Before I get into everything, I'd love to have you guys find the question box and just type in how things are going. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Terry. Oh, Ronald, how are you? It's good to see you. Carol, thank you. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the different ways to get your books on Amazon. This will be short. For those of you who are already there, don't worry. We're going to get to the meat of the matter soon. We're going to talk about the different way your page can be optimized to look as good as possible. We're going to talk about the ways you can make your books easier to find. A lot of you guys are concerned about your ranking. I don't care about your ranking. Nobody should care about their ranking. What I care about is your searchability. Is your book easy to find? How easy is it to search on your book? That's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about reviews, Amazon reviews, how to get them and why. And Amazon has just started offering some marketing programs, and I would like to show you the ways that you can spend your money with them that make the most sense, and the ways you can spend your money with them that pretty much will be just a waste of money. I've done them all. I'd love to share my experience with you. And finally, why and how to improve your author page. We're going to get into something called Author Central. So, Tony, I'm so sorry that you're not getting any audio, but I think everyone else is hearing us fine. So you might want to check your speakers. And with that, I'm going to keep going. All right. The different ways to get your print book on Amazon. Print only we're going to start with. I'm also going to get into your ebook, and I'm going to talk about your audiobook. But to start with, we're going to talk about your print book. And the first way to get a print book up on Amazon is to go through Seller Central. Seller Central is a third-party bookstore platform. It is a way for you to open a used and new bookstore platform through the Amazon.com page. And if you go to sellercentral.amazon.com, they will charge you anywhere from $40 to $100 a month as rent, and you can rent a store space on Amazon through the Seller Central program. And if you'd like to learn more about that, there's the link right there, sellercentral.amazon.com. I'm pointing it out right now. There you go. Another way to get on Amazon, and the way that a lot of you who already have printed books are on, is through Amazon Advantage. Both Seller Central and Amazon Advantage, these are two options for people who went to a printer and printed a few hundred or a few thousand copies of their book and have copies sitting in a warehouse somewhere. If that's the case, then you might want to consider Amazon Advantage. Unlike Seller Central, which is a third-party bookstore that you can buy and rent on the Amazon page, Amazon Advantage is a program that you can sign up for as an author or a publisher as long as you own the distribution rights to your book. This will not work for you if you're published through Author Central or Lulu or one of those. This is simply an option if you're the publisher of your book, or if you're the author who self-published your book under your own ISBN. Amazon Advantage is a program that allows Amazon to purchase your books from you at a 55% discount. They will buy your books from you, you ship them your books to a warehouse, and they will turn around and sell those books to their customers through their Prime program or any program they have and pay you. And finally, the way most of you are probably either on Amazon or will be is through CreateSpace. CreateSpace is the largest print-on-demand company in the world. It is owned by Amazon.com. CreateSpace was purchased by them over a decade ago. And in the last few years, they have become the 500-pound gorilla. They are huge. CreateSpace has hundreds and hundreds of digital print facilities. Digital printing is the technology that allows print-on-demand to work. Print-on-demand is a business model that CreateSpace and Ingram Spark and Fast Pencil and several other companies all use, that allow these companies like CreateSpace to use digital printers to print a book one at a time, 5 at a time, 8, 20, 100 at a time. What they do is they print to the order. So CreateSpace is a great option for new, first-time, or small title count authors and publishers. So going to createspace.com, here's the link right here. They will actually walk you through the process. It's completely free to set it up. And what happens is you upload your book file to CreateSpace. You send the PDF of your interior and the PDF of your cover to CreateSpace, and they hold it in their computer bank. And when my Aunt Mildred orders a copy of your book from Amazon.com, Amazon will turn around and send an order to CreateSpace. They will print a copy that day and send it out to my Aunt Mildred the next morning. And if Aunt Mildred is a Prime member, she gets it within 2 days, free of charge of shipping. And that is how CreateSpace works. So CreateSpace is a fantastic option if you want to get on Amazon. And if, and this is again, if you don't have 500 copies sitting in your basement already. The nice thing about print on demand is it allows new, first-time, and small presses to gauge the demand of their book. My book is print on demand through CreateSpace and Ingram Spark. I use both. But when someone orders my book from Amazon, I don't want to have to run to the post office and ship Amazon a copy of my book so they can turn around and ship it to whomever bought it. I want CreateSpace to handle it for me. So they're a terrific print on demand option. That was for print books. But don't forget, folks, okay, now I see, Casper, I see that you have that you've asked a question, and I just want to remind everyone, start writing your question. Follow Casper's example. Start typing your questions in, because in a few moments I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop and answer all the questions that pop up. So don't be discouraged if I don't answer your question right away. Just type them into the question box while I'm going through, and I will answer them in a minute. So that was print books, 3 different ways to get your print books on Amazon. But I don't want you guys to forget about audio and ebooks. Almost 19% of the books sold in the U.S. alone, and I'm just talking about U.S. in terms of numbers, but over 19% of the books sold in the U.S. are sold as ebooks, and 95% of those ebooks are sold through Amazon Kindle. So you do the math. That is a very large percentage of ebooks, and audiobooks are 15% of the billions of dollars being spent on books every year. About 15% of them, that comes directly from the Book Industry Study Group. The Book Industry Study Group is a think tank slash data crunching organization that is made up of Nielsen Bookstand and Publishers Weekly and a whole bunch of other organizations. And the Book Industry Study Group puts out these quarterly reports that have dug deep into the data. And that's where I got both these numbers from. The most recent data is available actually only through the end of last year. But it tells us that almost 15% of the money spent on books as of the end of last year was on audiobooks. So you really don't want to skip your ebook or audiobook options for a number of you. And the easiest way to get your book on Amazon as an ebook is to go through Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. And there's the URL right there, kdp.amazon.com. Kindle is very similar to CreateSpace. It's a company owned by Amazon.com that will take your file, it's a Mobi file, M-O-B-I, Mary, Oliver, Balloon, Indigo. I don't know all the correct letters, but a Mobi file, and they will keep it on file, and the minute somebody orders your ebook, they will upload it to their Kindle or their phone or wherever it is they ask for it to go. It is free to sign up, and they only keep 35%, they only keep 35%, my apologies, 35% of the cost of your ebook, and they send you 65%. Those numbers are true for most countries. There are some exceptions. Some countries, I think India is one of them, they keep 70% because the rights to sell into those countries are so expensive. It's the only way they can make any money. And in addition, your book needs to be $2.99 or above to get that 65% of the retail price. But if you go to kdp.amazon.com, they lay out for you all the different ways that you can get paid. And as I said, it's completely free to sign up. KDP does allow you a direct relationship with Amazon.com. And for those of you who are with Smashwords or BookBaby, even Ingram Spark for your ebook, I would recommend that you send and bring your Mobi file directly to kdp.amazon.com, even if you're with those other companies, because Amazon will check with KDP first, and you make a lot more money than you do as if you go through Ingram Spark or through Smashwords. Even though I love both Ingram Spark and Smashwords, I love them a lot. KDP is usually a great idea to go direct. And in the final note about Kindle here, people will sometimes confuse KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, with the program Kindle Direct Publishing Select. KDP Select is not the same thing as the KDP program. KDP Select is a program that Amazon is pushing for authors and publishers to allow Amazon to offer your ebook exclusively through Amazon, only through Amazon. I'm not crazy about this program, but what I'm about to tell you is my opinion and my opinion only. There are things that I feel very firmly about because I have experience. This next thing is just my opinion, so you can take it with a huge grain of salt. I want my book available to independent bookstores, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, libraries. I want the ebook, the audio book, and the print book available in all the different places where people shop. If I offer my ebook through Amazon only, I am thumbing my nose at Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, the independent bookstores, and a number of the libraries by offering it through Amazon only. It's not ideal for me. That is just for me. I'm not a romance novelist. I don't make 90% of my money, or even 95% of my dollars through Amazon and ebooks. If I was a romance novelist, I would have a very different opinion. But I am a nonfiction prescriptive how-to author. My books are based on how to teach people to do things, and my market is such that I don't think KDP Select is a great idea. Offering the book exclusively through Amazon does give you some nice perks. bumps you up a bit in the searchability and the ranking. You get some marketing hits. You're allowed to offer your books for free for up to 5 days in every 90-day period. These are wonderful incentives, but not enough for me. So I hope that answers the question about the difference between KDP and KDP Select. And we're going to quickly move on to audiobooks, because again, I promised you guys I wouldn't make this part last too long. If you are the rights holder of your book, if you have the world rights to your book and you haven't done an audiobook yet, I would suggest you go to acx.com. ACX, Apple Charlie X-ray.com, is owned by Amazon.com. It's a place where you can go and upload your book, and producers and voiceover actors will bid on it, and they will agree to produce and record your audiobook for you. Now, in exchange, they want a cut. Some of them are going to want 50%, 60% of your profit, but they're the ones who did all the work. So some of them won't want that much. You might be able to record your own audiobook and have someone just edit it and produce it and upload it. Any way you want to look, there's all sorts of options. But I would recommend that you go to acx.com and take a look at your options, whether or not you've created your own audiobook or you want someone else to do it. ACX is a terrific place to start, and it will allow you to get your audiobook up to Audible. I want to remind you guys that Amazon.com doesn't just own Amazon and Kindle, CreateSpace, and ACX. They also own Audible. Audible is the largest audiobook download company in the world. They own Zappos, the shoe company. They own Goodreads, and they used to own Shelfari before they folded it in with Goodreads. They own a lot of different companies, and this is just one of them. Almost all of them I have their benefits, and I suggest that you check these 3 companies out at your earliest convenience. All right. Well, Frances, I see we have some questions. I'm going to just lean over, if it's okay with you, and I'm going to put on my old lady glasses and read a few of these questions out.
That's great.
All right. Wayne is asking if I will go over the Amazon 50% buy deal. Wayne, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. 50% buy deal. I know that Amazon does allow publishers and manufacturers of all types, not just books, shoes, baby wipes. It allows manufacturers and publishers to offer coupons and discounts. That is not the same thing as when you click on a book that's $16 and Amazon is selling it for $14.94. That's a different thing. Amazon often will discount books, and we're going to discuss that in a moment. But you, as a publisher, if you've gone through Amazon either through KDP or Amazon Advantage or CreateSpace, you can offer your book with a coupon or a discount. That might be what you're referring to. I'm so sorry, but if you want to elaborate more in the questions box, I'd be happy to answer that more directly. But I don't know what a 50% buy deal is. Casper's asking if Amazon print in Australia soon. Shipping costs are prohibitive. Yes, they are. Casper, Australia has actually been asking for that for a while. The print costs at this point, I will get in touch with Robin Cutler. I know that there is a print-on-demand option through Ingram Spark that is coming up in Australia very, very soon. But I don't know about CreateSpace. I'm sorry. But if the shipping costs are getting prohibitive and if they're starting to bug you, I would suggest you look into Ingram Spark, because they do offer print options in Australia that do work with Amazon over there. So they might be your best bet. You can, everyone, you can have your book file with your ISBN, the same ISBN, up on CreateSpace and up on Ingram Spark. They can be side by side. All right. Wayne is saying that his book was published through CreateSpace. Wayne, I think that's a great thing. I want to clarify. Your book was printed through CreateSpace. You published the book. Wayne O was the publisher, not CreateSpace. CreateSpace, even if CreateSpace gave you an ISBN, you are the publisher. They may have your distribution rights, but they're your printer. CreateSpace is not technically a publisher, no matter what they say, I promise. Terry's saying that KDP Select is only for a 90-day commitment. That's true. And doesn't KDP Select provide advertising for your book during that time? Not advertising. Now, if your book is a runaway bestseller, they'll do all sorts of promotions for it and make it available to you. But no, there's no free advertising. Advertising is, you can purchase it, and we're going to discuss that in a moment, Terry. They do push it a little bit more, as I said. It comes up higher in the search engine, higher in the rankings. But I don't know of any ads that they run. And if you decide to cancel after the 90 days, can you move to regular KDP and other venues? Terry, that's exactly how to do it. And a lot of people do. They'll sign up for KDP for the first KDP Select for the first 90 days. And then after the 90 days is over, they will then upload it everywhere else through Smashwords, Ingram Spark, perhaps they do BookBaby, however they decide to do it. Get it up on Nook and everywhere else. And then they start promoting it to bookstores. I just wanted to caution people, though, please don't call Barnes & Noble or your local independent while it's on KDP Select, because they do check. And you only have one chance to make a good first impression, and you don't want to be that guy. You know, you don't want to be the one who asks the bookstore to stock your book, and then they find out that IndieBound or Nook can't get the ebook because you're selective. Oh, Wayne, I'm so glad you clarified that. That is the Amazon Advantage program. Go to www.advantage.amazon.com, and they will purchase your book at a 55% discount, not 50, at a 55% discount, and then they will turn around and sell it to my Aunt Mildred or whoever buys the book. That's what Wayne was asking when he asked about the 50% buy deal. That is the Amazon Advantage program, but it's a 55% discount, not 50. Good question. Crystal's asking about the Audible book production. Okay, I'm going to go back to that page. Everyone take a look. acx.com. A is in Apple, C is in Charlie, X is in X-ray. There you go. And Kara's asking if I can clarify to people that on KDP, it's actually a 70% royalty you get, and only if the book is $2.99 to 99 cents. Kara, you're absolutely right. KDP does offer a 70% royalty. The reason why I say 65%, here, let me go back to that page. The reason why I say 65% is this. In almost all cases, there's a small delivery fee. And so while KDP does offer a 70% royalty function if your book is anywhere from $2.99 to $9.99, after the admin fee, the delivery fee, the art fee, whatever you want to call it, there's a bunch of little fees that get sneaked in. It's usually closer to 67 or 68%. So I tell people it's closer to 65, just so nobody's surprised. When you're doing the math, even though it says 70, there are a few extra fees in there, delivery fees, especially if someone buys it overseas or if you have any artwork. So thank you for that clarification, Tara, because you're absolutely right. That discount only kicks in between $2.99 and $9.99. If your book is below $2.99, if it's 99 cents or $1.99, you only get to keep 35%. And in some cases, 30%, depending on your delivery fee. All right, well, that looks like all the questions about that portion. I hope everyone's clear on how to get into Amazon, whether it's a print book, an audio book, or an ebook. Francis, do you have any questions or anything before I move on?
I don't have any questions. I love this presentation, by the way.
Well, thanks, because if I was boring you, now would be the time to tell me. I can tell jokes for the next, 45 minutes if you want. All right. So, Wayne, I see your question about listing all the venues where you can list your ebook. Yes, I can, but this is a presentation about Amazon. So if I have time at the end, I will absolutely get into all that. I promise that's a very long list. But, as I said, Smashwords, Ingram, you either need Smashwords or Ingram Spark or BookBaby. You don't need all three. Just pick one of those. They all do the same thing. I personally love Smashwords. That's my favorite. But there are, without exaggeration, dozens and dozens of venues where your ebook should go, different ebook distributors and retailers. And any of those three companies I just mentioned will get you in. So how your Amazon page looks is very important. It's the same thing how you look on a job interview. When you're asking somebody to hire you, you take a shower, you do your hair, you put on your best suit, you make sure your shoes are shined and that you don't have any scuff marks. You put your best face forward. Well, the same is true when you're asking someone to buy your book. And we're going to cover all of these items, what your cover, search inside, what your description needs to look like, your author bio. We're going to go into all of this. Now, do not worry if your page doesn't have all of these items, because the nice thing, whether you're with Amazon Advantage or Seller Central or CreateSpace, is that you can go through and add and fix these at any time. So don't panic if you don't have some of these items. Let's start with my favorite book. Now, you guys may recognize the name of this author, but I am using my book here as an example. Here is an example of an Amazon page for a particular book. One of the first things you'll see, do you see this that I just circled? See that fancy schmancy little thing I just did there? Is that my book has the look inside feature. It's really important that people be able to flip through my book and read a few pages to make sure that my book is well written, that I'm not full of BS, that, well, I may be, but and they won't catch it in the first 2 pages, but they have to be able to read a few pages to see if my book is what they were interested in. Gone are the days when people say they can't browse online. That was true 4 or 5 years ago. Tons of people said it all the time. They needed to go to a bookstore or to a library because they had to be able to browse the book. We are learning as a race to browse online. We are learning, and the younger people who are far younger than me, they grew up browsing online. They don't need to sit in a bookstore and flip through or thumb through a book. You also see here, see this red thing that I'm circling right here? My book is available through Amazon Prime. Why is my book available through Amazon Prime? Because I use CreateSpace. You can also make your book available for Amazon Prime if you go through Amazon Advantage. Seller Central, not so much. So if you use either CreateSpace or Amazon Advantage, you will find that your book is available and eligible for anyone who's an Amazon Prime member, which means that I and my Aunt Mildred, both Amazon Prime members, can get a copy of my book in 2 days, shipped free. You also need a good, strong list price. My book is only about 180 pages long. There's absolutely no reason for me to charge $20 for my book, no matter how much money I want to make off of it. My book was priced because I took a look at the other books that were 160 to 200 pages. I looked at Joel Friedlander. I looked at Jane Friedman. I looked at John Kramer. I paid attention to what their books cost. I paid attention to their page count, whether or not their books, what the dates were that they were published in. And I determined that $16 was a reasonable price point for my book. But you will notice here, guys, Amazon's selling it for $12.49. For those of you who are unaware of this, I'm going to give you a little tip. That $3.51 discount off the retail price of my book right there, I'm not paying that. That comes out of Amazon's cut. Amazon buys my book from CreateSpace. CreateSpace prints it and ships it out to whomever Amazon wants. And CreateSpace will give me 60% of the retail price of my book, which is $16. They will give me 60% of that $16 minus the cost of printing. Let's say it cost me $3 to print my book. But Amazon is selling my book for $12.49. Amazon takes that discount out of their cut, not mine. I get the same amount of money whether Amazon sells this book at $16 or $10. It doesn't matter to me. I love it that Amazon discounts my book. They make my book available cheaper, less expensive for my potential readers, for some of my students. That's great. I love it. It does not affect me in the least financially. Then further on down my page is the biography. And I want you to see here, visit Amazon's Amy Collins page. We're going to get into this in a second. Amy Collins and all of you who are on this call, Crystal, Wayne, Jean, all of you, Terry especially, because Terry, you're sneaky, I can tell. You know your stuff. You have to have an Amazon Author Central page. We're going to get into that in a second. But your Amazon biography should also be packed full of keywords. You will notice that I've got a lot of keywords here in my description, starting up with talking about book sales, marketing, book buyers. This is all stuff that I wanted people to know about me. It doesn't matter that I live in Rochester, New York, and that my dogs' names are Lucy and Marley, and that, I have been living and working for the last 5 years. None of that matters. I put in the first few sentences everything I want them to know about me so that they're impressed about me and they want to buy my book. The rest of the stuff can come at the bottom. You'll notice that, down in the bottom, I also say other things about myself, but don't lead with that. And finally, my page has customer reviews. Now, this is an old screenshot. I have more reviews than this now, but this is when my book first came out, and I really need to upload a new screenshot. But what's important with reviews is that my reviews show up and that I not freak out if I have a 3-star or a 4-star review. There is nothing wrong with a 3 or 4-star review. That means, 3-star means they liked it okay. They may have a problem with it. They may not have a problem with it. For those of you who are concerned about your reviews, be far more concerned about the type of review you get. We're about to cover that in a moment. We're going to go into great detail about reviews. But this is what your page needs to include. It needs to include reviews, your biography, and it needs to include a full description. We're going to get into the details right now. Author Central. This is an example of a woman that I know and whom I really respect. Judith Briles has a terrific Author Central page. You will notice on her page that she has videos here. Here, I'm going to point them out to you here. She's got videos. She's got other books by her. She's got all of her books listed. She's got a biography. Customers also by her also bought books from, there's John Kramer's name, a number of them. What I want you to do, if you are an author, and please, I'm begging you, if you take nothing else from this from this hour, from this presentation, I want you to take this. I'm begging you. Write down the following. Get a pen out, guys. Here we go. www or http, I don't care. authorcentral.amazon.com. I want you to make sure that you have claimed your name as an author on authorcentral.com. I want to make sure that every single book that you have contributed to, I've written the foreword to someone else's book, I've been included in a chapter of someone else's book, I claim all those books on my Author Central account. I want you to link your Twitter account. You can link your blog to your Author Central page. You can link your Twitter account. You can put up videos if you've got any YouTube videos. Record it quick on Facebook Live. I don't care. They all get up there. Go to authorcentral.amazon.com. Amazon is the second largest search engine in the world. Amazon is this enormous, powerful search engine, second only to Google. Nobody's bigger. It's Google, then it's Amazon. You want all of your best feet forward. You want your shoes polished. You want your hair done. You want your clothes pressed. This is a job interview. This is a way to put your best foot forward. Go to authorcentral.com. You won't be sorry. It's also a great place to put keywords, and we're going to talk in a minute about keywords and how to put them up. So before I move on to reviews and keywords and how to flesh out your page a little bit more, let's see if there's any other questions. Jean is asking, how do you go about setting up an Amazon for a trading bundle? Digital 300-page book, resources, checklists, etc. Well, Jean, if you were going to create a bundle with the book and resources and a checklist, I would put it all in one PDF file. If it were me, I would put the resources with live links and your checklist and the 300-page book in one PDF file and upload it both as a print book and as an ebook, and create a cover that actually called it a trading bundle. Then you can sell the book itself individually without the resources and checklists for a lower price. That's what I would do if I were you. And Sean is asking, how can you do that with my book, the Kindle Unlimited thing? Sean, do you mean Kindle Unlimited or Kindle Select? Let me go over the difference between the two. Kindle Unlimited is a program that any ebook, Kindle, you don't have to be exclusive with Amazon, but that any Kindle ebook author, publisher can sign up for, which allows people who have a Kindle Unlimited subscription to download your book and read it under their subscription. And you get paid quite a bit of money in many cases. You get paid per page read. And it's a wonderful way to get extra passive income. That's Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Select is an exclusive deal that when you first sign up with your ebook, you agree to not give your ebook to Nook or Smashwords, Kobo, any of the others. You only are going to stick with Amazon for at least 90 days. If you've already given your ebook to someone else, I'm afraid Kindle Select is off the table for you. People have tried to pull their ebook back from all the different places where it is so they can get into Kindle Select. It's a little like ripping open a feather pillow and placing a feather on every doorstop in your neighborhood, and then the next day running around trying to collect all the feathers. It's usually way too difficult and way not worth it, way too time consuming. Jean's asking about suggestions on price on training info. Jean, here's the deal. When I help somebody come up with a price for their book, I have to know a lot more about it. And I'd love to cover that here. But if you guys want to contact me offline, my email is info, I-N-F-O, at newshelves.com. And that information will be at the end of this presentation, unless Frances doesn't want me to share my email information, in which case she should tell me right now so I shut up. But,
I think that's great that you're sharing it.
Okay, Jean, I'm happy to help you offline. Why don't you get a hold of me offline and let me know a little bit more about your training program. Always, I'm thrilled to give my opinion. I am never so happy as when I'm the one talking. So if anyone here wants my opinion on something, just email me. I love it. Casper is, let's see. Casper's wondering if he should categorize his book as a series right from the start. Yes, it is a fantastic idea if you are writing a series to brand the series as best you can right from the start. Make sure you're working with a cover designer who isn't 78 years old. You want a design team and an editorial team that is going to be sticking around for a while so that you can keep cohesiveness through your brand. You want a brand name and a brand look that will carry you through the next few years. Good question, Casper. Cheryl's asking if I recommend having a separate website for each. Okay, Cheryl, I'm afraid that's not really an Amazon question. I feel free to email me questions, guys, that aren't part of Amazon. I love these questions. They're really savvy, but I'm going to try and just keep it to Amazon right now. Sean is asking if the fact that my book was discounted to $12.50 was because I was with KDP. No, Sean, it wasn't. My book was discounted and continues to be discounted because it sells. That's embarrassing to say. That I probably should have said that with a little more humility in my voice. But the fact is that when a book starts selling, Amazon will discount it because they want to encourage more people to buy it. So when they see some movement on a book, they'll start discounting it deeper and deeper. Sometimes you'll see like the Harry Potter books that retail for $11.99. You'll see them on sale for $5. That is why. All right, I did not enroll in anything to get my book discounted. It's just something that Amazon decides to do. And actually, there's no human being deciding on these things. It's a computer bot. It's not like someone named Ellen is sitting at Amazon going, that Amy Collins, I like the cut of her jib. I think I'll discount her book $1. Ooh, no, let's make it $1. Ooh, let's make it $2. That's not how it works. The computer bots just see some movement on my page or that a couple people have checked my book out. And they say, oh, people are checking her book out, but they're not buying it. Let's discount it a bit. Ooh, people are buying it. Let's discount it even more. It happens automatically. All right, back to the presentation where I promised you I was going to teach you guys about keywords and about reviews and how to make your book easier to find. So if you guys are with me on this, keep typing those questions in the question box, but I'm going to move on because I promised Frances we'd be done in 20 minutes. I told her an hour. So I don't want to, although I do love the sound of my own voice, even I don't want to hear me for an hour. So I said this before, and I'm going to say this again. How your book is ranked doesn't matter. It does not matter. What matters is searchability. Where my book is ranked doesn't matter. What matters is when someone types in self-publishing or book marketing or book sales, I want my book to be on that front page. I want it to be right near the top. Searchability and findability is so much more important than ranking. Ranking is simply a reflection of whether or not people are buying your book. And if you've written a romance novel, your ranking is probably going to be very, very, very low because there's a gazillion romance books out there and it's very competitive. What matters is the dollars. I have a number of students, a lot of clients whose ranking is pathetic, but they make a living as an author. They've written a couple of books, and even though their ranking is not great, everybody is buying their books, and they're having far more luck and far more financial success paying attention to their searchability than if they were paying to their ranking. And the first way we're going to affect whether or not people find your book is with keywords. CreateSpace, Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and Amazon Advantage. All three of these venues, I don't know about ACX. I will look into that. I don't know. But I do know that with Kindle and CreateSpace and Amazon Advantage, you have an opportunity to put keywords right into the metadata of your book. Metadata being the title, the subtitle, what it is it's all the book description and all of that. And you have up to 7 keywords that you can type in. Amazon and I both agree that what you should be typing in are the things that most likely are being typed in for people to find. Now, for me, it would be self-publishing. It would be book marketing, book sales, bookstore sales, how to get into bookstores, how to get into libraries, how to sell on Amazon. So those are some of the key phrases and keywords that I use. You're allowed up to 7. And I'm through CreateSpace and through KDP. I put different keywords in CreateSpace than I did on KDP. Bam, 14 keywords. I doubled my keywords just like that. Don't use the same keywords, guys. Use different ones. Here's some examples. If you're a novelist, perhaps type in the setting. I am a huge fiction reader. I eat books. I read 3 to 4 books a week minimum. I'm on a Tudor kick lately. I'm on a historical romance, anything that has to do with Henry VIII or Elizabeth or War of the Roses. That's my thing lately. I'm not proud of it. Please don't tell my mother. She spent a lot of money to send me to a nice school. But I am reading pretty much crap historical fiction. I love it. I can't stop reading it. So whenever I want a new book, I'm typing in Philippa Gregory, Tudor historical romance, typing in Henry VIII. I'm typing in keywords. I want you to think about what your readers are typing in, and I want you to use those for keywords. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If not, start typing in your questions, because we're going to move on to the other ways you can get keywords into your book. And that way, right now with keywords, that is put it in your description. If you wrote a book about how to take care of a kitten, if you've got the care and feeding of your first kittens book, and I don't have any kittens, but I hear they're very, cute and fluffy, and you keep them alive. They apparently need feeding regularly, and then you got to train them to go in the litter box. And so if you've written a book on how to do this, I don't want you just to stop with your metadata. I want you to feed all sorts of phrases in your book description and in your author bio. I want you to type in best-selling pet book author, comma, Amy Collins. I want you to use the phrase cat expert, whether it's true or not. Even if you have to feed it in, wishing she was a cat expert, I want you to use phrases that people will be typing in on your to look for books like yours. I used to tell people to type in the names of best-selling authors. That's a bit tricky. In your description, in your last paragraph, if you want to say that, this book if you want to, in your last paragraph, if you want to quote somebody and they actually said, I loved this book as much as I loved Philippa Gregory's book, The Other Boleyn Girl, that's perfectly acceptable because that's you quoting somebody. If you want to write in your bio that you're a huge fan of Philippa Gregory and that she was a big influence on you, that's okay. If you're obviously feeding your bio and your description with other authors' names, if you put 10 or 15 other author names in, Amazon's they're gonna yank it. So be careful. Do it carefully. Don't be weird about it. Just, be cool, guys. Be cool. So your description, your author bio, your author central page, I want you to start thinking and start finding all of the keywords that are in your competition's book. If you've written a book about kittens, I want you to go find all the best-selling books about kittens and see what they're described. What are the keywords they use? There's nothing wrong with emulating a best-selling book, guys. That's how we learn. How do I know how to do my makeup? Because I watch women who do their makeup really well on YouTube videos, and I do what they do. It is no different in the book world. There is nothing wrong with emulating someone else's cover or someone else's keywords. That's how we learn. I hope that makes sense, because we're going to talk about other ways your book can be found. You can put your book into shopping carts and wish lists with other best-selling books. If I've written The Care and Feeding of a Kitten, but there's two best-selling books on kitten, if DK, has a book called The Kitten, and HarperCollins has a book called How Not to Kill Your First Cat, and those are, New York Times best-selling books on keeping a kitten alive, then what I want you to do is put How Not to Kill Your First Cat and The Kitten in a wish list on Amazon with your book. I want you and your mother and your Aunt Mildred and your best friend from college to all go buy a copy of your book and The Kitten and How Not to Kill Your First Cat. Buy them all in the same shopping cart on the same fell swoop. Within a few days of doing this, you will start to see that your book is being intricately linked on Amazon with other best-selling books in your genre. I want to repeat this tip because this one's important. Find the best-selling books in your genre, and you and several of your good friends need to go out in a short period of time and buy your book and their books at the same time in the same shopping cart. You also can put them in wish lists. This will link you to other books. I also want to talk to you guys about reviews. Now I do see that Arlene and Casper are asking some questions. I promise I'm going to get to them, guys. But I want to talk about reviews for a second. Right now, according to my experience, I have noticed, I spend a lot of time on Amazon. You just got to trust me on this. I have noticed that when you have, or when anyone has, 85 reviews or more, 85 seems to be the cutoff point right now. It seems to be the sweet spot. All of a sudden, Amazon sits up and pays attention. Remember those computer bots I was telling you about, the discounts books? Well, they do other things. They generate emails to tens of thousands of their customers that say, hey, I noticed you bought Philippa Gregory's latest book on Henry VIII. Maybe you'd like Ellen Johnson's book about Anne Boleyn. I get emails from Amazon all the time. I get notices from Kindle. And guess what, guys? There's a new book out that we thought you'd like based on your reading history. There isn't a woman named Janine sitting at Amazon headquarters with her chin in her hand thinking, I wonder if Amy's book would be a good fit for Joel. No, that's not how it works. The computer bots pay attention to books when there's movement. You need at least 85 reviews by Amazon customers before Amazon bots start really paying attention to you. That is the sweet spot. It used to be 35. It's very different. So what kind of reviews should you get? And my God, Amazon does seem to be confusing when it comes to the review world. I could do an entire hour on how to get reviews on Amazon. I have. But we're just going to briefly cover that there's editorial reviews. Editorial reviews are not Amazon customer reviews. They're reviews by legitimate third-party companies like Publishers Weekly or the New York Times or the Chicago Sun-Times, Booklist, Forward, Kirkus, not Kirkus Discoveries, not the one you pay $500 for. They don't count. But an editorial review is a review that was spontaneously generated. Yes, you may have asked for it, but the editors decided to review the book without any compensation, and they reviewed your book, and they sent you a review, or they posted their review either on their website or in their newsletter or magazine or newspaper. These reviews can go right into the body of the description of your book or under editorial reviews on Amazon. They're wonderful, and bookstores and libraries depend on editorial reviews all the time. But there's also verified reviews on Amazon. These are customer reviews. You will see right here, if you look at the screen, I'm circling it with my mouse. This book, this review was written by a woman named Colleen Messina. It's a review of a book called Man Called Ove. This was a verified purchase, meaning that Amazon can confirm that Colleen actually bought the Kindle version of A Man Called Ove. Amazon gives verified purchase reviews more weight than non-verified reviews. That doesn't mean that if you send out free copies of your book for Amazon reviews that they're not taken seriously. They are, and they count towards your 85. But the verified reviews are going to show up at the top of the list. They're the ones that show up first. They're given more credence. And then there's Vine reviews. Amazon has created a select group, a very large, but a select group of reviewers that have passed the smell test, in a manner of speaking. Amazon has grabbed some reviewers who have written a lot of reviews, and they have asked if they'd like to join the Vine program, which allows these reviewers to receive free or heavily discounted bits of merchandise in exchange for writing reviews. They've passed ethical standards. They've agreed to uphold certain modes of conduct to stay in the Vine program. You know if you have a Vine reviewer because right here at the end of their name, if Colleen Messina was a Vine reviewer, which she's not, right here it would say Vine review or Vine reviewer. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about reviews is as you're going out and getting reviews, and you need to spend time every day asking people to review your book. If you wrote a book about kittens, I want you to go find the book, How Not to Kill Your First Cat, and I want you to find all the people that reviewed that book and contact them. Click on their review link and see if they have an email on their bio page and offer to send them a free copy of your book in exchange for an honest review. Free copies of books are still allowed on Amazon.com for reviews. Amazon has not, no matter what you've heard, Amazon has not forbidden review copies in exchange for reviews. An honest review is all you need to ask for. And once you get a review from anyone, whether it's a Vine reviewer, a verified review, you and all of your friends, please, please, please go right here to this, was this review helpful to you? What you want is to have everyone who gave you a 5-star review. I want you and your dozen best friends to click yes, this review was helpful to me. Click yes. Because the more helpful reviews the reviewer gets, the better and stronger your review becomes. All right, I hope that made sense, because now we're going to briefly talk about the marketing opportunities available through Amazon Marketing Service. Amazon offers an opportunity to buy clicks. You can, for as little as $10, you can, or sometimes I spend 20 or 30 sometimes. You can put together a program that either allows your book to show up. See here, it shows up right in the list. You target by keyword, or it will show up at the top of the Amazon page as a headline image, or it will show up right on the side or on the bottom as a sponsored product. These ads are very inexpensive, and you only pay when someone actually clicks on your ad. When someone clicks on your product, then you pay 50 cents a click, $1 a click, whatever. You, the one that you set the budget, you can decide. I would strongly recommend, guys, that you go to ams.amazon.com if you are a Kindle or an Amazon Advantage member and check out their marketing opportunities. There's some videos for you to watch there. ams.amazon.com is where you might be able to find. This is, again, it depends on the type of book. If you wrote, I have a woman whom I love, a client. She wrote a book about how to turn your yard into a micro farm. She literally turned her entire suburban yard into a small farm. She's not having a great deal of luck with the ads, but that's because it's a really narrow niche. How many people want to turn their yard into a micro farm? Well, apparently quite a few. But I have other clients who have written novels that are selling hundreds of copies of their book by using these sponsored product headline ads or product display ads. So pay attention to your budget. Go to ams.amazon.com and check it out. All right, I see a number of questions, and we've got 5 minutes left in the hour. I'm going to answer a few, then I'm going to ask Frances, and do you have any questions before I answer anyone else's?
No, everything's been great.
All right. Well, Frances, you're the easiest host I've ever had. This is amazing. I appreciate it, guys. Arlene is asking, where do you find keywords? If you mean where do you find where to put them in, if you go to createspace.com and go under book description, you will find a slot there for up to 7 keywords. The same is true for KDP. If you're asking how do you find what keywords to use, it's a matter, truthfully, of trial and error. I would start by looking at your competition. What are the keywords that they use? Look at their book description. I want you to think about, just think like one of your potential readers. Put 7 words in. Here's the thing, Arlene. If 3 weeks later, if you don't think your keywords are getting you any love, go back in and change them up. Replace 4 or 5 of them. Try different ones. See what happens. Mix them up. I touch my Amazon page every 2 weeks, minimum. I'm always trying new things to see what I can do. Casper is asking about how to find the best fit category for your book. Ooh, I actually know the answer to this. Casper, I want you to drive to your nearest bookstore or library. Don't mention Amazon. Let me say that again. Do not mention Amazon. But I want you to go to your nearest bookstore or library. Don't call them up. Go there in person with a copy of your book in your hand and ask the librarian or the bookseller there to help you with that. They love to help authors. For the most part, they're extremely busy, so you won't get much of their time, but ask them if they can help you come up with what they think is the best category for your book. And then I want you to back that up. It's always good to ask an expert, somebody who spends their day on the front lines dealing with customers all the time. But I want you to take their advice, and I want you then to go to Amazon.com and look up your 3 to 5 closest competitor books. All of you guys have at least 5 books that are an apples-to-apples comparison to yours. We all think our book is unique in that no one compares. That's just not true. There's lots of books out there just like ours and that would appeal to the same readers. Go find them and find out what categories they use. How do you provide a free copy to a reviewer? Well, if they want an ebook, you send them a Mobi file. If they want a PDF, you email them a PDF. If they want a print copy, you ask for their address and you mail them a print copy. It's simple as that. Terry wants to know, do you ask for your reviews before you join KDP Select? Terry, I don't know how those two things are connected, but sure. As long as your book is available on Amazon, customers are able to review it. You cannot ask for a customer review before the book's available on Amazon. Well, you can ask, but no one will be able to post a review. So if you send them a book and ask them to review your book and they go on Amazon and your book isn't able to be reviewed, they'll probably be a little annoyed with you. So don't do that. Make sure your book's available before you ask for reviews. Sean is asking us to go over Vine reviews again, please. Sure, Sean, you can actually even Google this. If you Google Amazon Vine reviewers, you will find a list of Vine reviewers. Vine reviewers are a list of reviewers that have been invited by Amazon to review books and products. Their reviews way more and are given far more credence and weight on Amazon than normal customer reviews. Cindy's asking if I would advise using different keywords for the paperback and ebook of the same title. I would. That's what I was saying before. Use different keywords for the Kindle on KDP versus CreateSpace or Amazon Advantage. That's exactly what I meant. So that was a good catch. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on that. Use different keywords on your paperback and your Kindle, and you will be able to double the number of keywords that you're able to use. Denise wants to know, who does Amazon via Advantage sell the books to? Amazon will buy the book from you, the publisher, if you are the author and you have a publisher. If you're with Lulu, or if you're with Author Solutions, or even if you're with HarperCollins, You don't need to worry about how to get your book on Amazon. It's already there. Skip ahead to how to make your book amazing. But, Jean, if you are the publisher, Amazon Advantage will buy the book from you. They'll keep a couple copies in their warehouse, and then it's their customers they sell it to. They sell it to me, and they sell it to my mom, and they sell it to the lady down the street who bought your book. And that's how that works. Well, it is 3 o'clock. You have wasted another perfectly good hour, not to sound like Click and Clack from Boston, but we have spent an hour now going over Amazon. I hope you found it educational. If you did, and if you want any more information from me, I would like you to take a look at your screen. This is how to get a hold of me, my website, my email, my address. You know, you can, I ask you to email as opposed to call unless it's really urgent. But if you're trying to find me on Facebook, if you want to follow me on Twitter, any way that you want to get a hold of me, I would love to answer your questions. And Frances, I can't thank you enough for letting me babble on and on for the last hour.
Oh, this has been fabulous. You know, I've learned a lot today. And anybody who wants to review this PowerPoint again, I'm going to have it on my website at socialmediajustforwriters.com a week from this Monday. So check my website and my blog, and I'll have it there.
And again, any questions that either you didn't ask or that I didn't fully understand, please email me. My personal email is amy@newshelves.com, or you can email me at info@newshelves.com. They both come to me, and I would be very happy to answer your questions offline. Thank you so much, Frances. I had such very good questions, everyone. Very savvy group.
They were fabulous questions, and I just want to thank you again, Amy, and I want to thank everybody who was so active in their participation during this hour. I thought the questions were fabulous. I've never done a webinar where the audience was so active before, and so I appreciate you for all of your questions and all of your answers, Amy. Like I said earlier, I really learned a lot, so thank you everyone for being with us today, and thank you, Amy.
Thank you.